Hello guys, how are you doing? In this video we're going to look at how our behavior looks or what happens when we choose our emotions over us moving forward. And we'll look into what that means in this video. Now, my advice in the beginning for you would be to accept or think of emotions as a side effect or a post effect of our choices and our decisions and our actions. So I'm kind of placing all of these things in one single imaginary orb that I'm thinking of as an object, which I would usually call idea, so that you can understand how connected everything is. To be fair, choices and ideas do come from our emotions, and they always move in a single loop cycle, what have you. But the idea here is that our new emotions come from the decisions that we've made, and it's on the basis, as we looked into the previous video, it's practically about the way that we look at things. Our perspective predefines how we're going to experience everything that's happening around us, or everything that we're doing, or etc. So that's kind of why I would really like to underline and strongly underline choices matter and are very important. Because what happens if we focus on our emotions and our expressions of what we want to experience? It's actually, to be fair, at one point we're just negating our development. The focus on emotions or on expressions is usually making us look for more and more expressive experiences that can provoke good emotions that we have usually dignified as such. So that's all well and good, but the problem is that we only know a specific limited number of actions or activities that bring us that emotion. So we're basically running in a circle, and that's usually the problem. The most interesting thing is probably that we don't actually see it that way. We actually see it moment from moment, which is kind of good on the perspective that everything is here and now and etc. But we do also experience continuity. So from a time perspective, we don't have any development. We don't actually do anything new, and we just stay like that. Instead of looking for new planes to explore, we're actually looking for new ways to express the same thing. But at the same time, we can't repeat the exact same emotion every single time, and that's kind of the problem that we're having in the beginning, because we actually do remember it and we're trying to simulate it, we're trying to express it in the same way, but there's always something different, and there's something differentiating which makes it a little more difficult to actually reach the point of ecstasy, let's call it, that we usually would be looking for. And at some point that starts to become a problem, because we either become too emotional, we don't listen to what's happening around us, we're just in every single moment, because we do want to experience that specific emotion, we're just blowing up, like we're explosive, or impulsive would be the more practical term in this case, towards everything that's happening around us. And then sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. It's really different in people, but in general it's just that we're always focusing either on expressing anything, any kind of emotion at every single moment that we have, and looking for opportunities to do that, which is usually good. But but we're looking to that as a problem a little further, or we just wait till something happens, which is... Did you get anything out of this? This is what waiting for something to happen is. The idea is that usually we should always be active, we should always be doing something. But what should we do? This is where the choices come into action. This is where it becomes important, because if we don't know what to do or what we should do, it's that much easy to choose. Because if we have no opportunities or no ideas, then the single idea, we can use any idea, we can just come up with something and get it and use it and start with working with it. That's it. When we don't have an option, when we don't know what to do, we can actually do everything. I mean, it's kind of funny, but it's interesting realization for me when I realize that, but that's the way that it works. And it's true. If you look it up, I'm sure that if you test it, you will see the same results or opportunity. And that's it on the side where we're just waiting. And the choices. Now we're going to look on the other side where we're just looking for expressions every single moment. The problem there is that usually, because we're focused on having expressions, we don't actually focus on the moment, what's happening, what's the situation, what's actually happening. And I would like to underline that in bold again, because we're focused on the emotion. And while we're expressing emotions, usually it's a one-way stream. I think you can understand what I mean when I say that. It's called an expression for a reason, because X is an exoskeleton outside, and pressure from pressure, it's pressuring the outside. So whatever is coming our way, we're actually pushing it away, and we're actually pressuring. And that would explain why most of the cases when we're too emotional, people get too hard, because the more emotional we are, the more we're pressuring them to calm us down. Think about it. The other thing is that while we are focused on those expressions, we don't actually have an idea how to focus them and use them. What I mean, again, is the choice, it's the idea, it's the resolution of what we're going to do, what we're going to develop. This is something very important that we have in our life, and too often we neglect. And now that I think of it, we're always a combination of emotions, because usually we're just waiting. So when we're waiting for something to happen, we get bored, and at the first sign of something, we would like to implode all the emotion that we can, so that we can free ourselves from that energy. And here is where I tell you that it's important to have practical direction in which to develop, in which to work, so that I mean as a community, but me, you, everybody individually, have a specific direction that they can move, that they can focus their emotions on, they can manage, they can develop. And when I say develop, it's actually when we're bored, just add another piece. When we're out of ideas, just look at it a different way. When we've had enough, it's actually look into it another way. And it's that easy. It's really that easy. Changing our perspective, and based on the choices that we made, is always helpful. And we can actually rise above it, or soar above every issue that we might be having. What do we think of the video? Did it become clear that how important it is to have choices, and what happens when we're too emotional? Do you think it's an information that you can use, that you can apply? I would be grateful, and it would be really helpful for your feedback, as well as if you think that this video is useful, give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to the channel, whatever you find useful and purposeful. Until next time.